This is the faster time to value with BigQuery Migration Services session, which means we're going to be talking about migrations to BigQuery and what we have been doing over the last 1 year on the technology front, on our global consulting front, as well as on our partner front. So if you're a customer, welcome, welcome. If you're a partner, even more special welcome. All right, let's get started. So I'm Mohit. I am the product manager who is responsible for migrations to Google's data and analytics portfolio. And with me, we have a very special speaker, a very special guest today, Jiby Varghese from Seattle Children's Hospital. This is a very special customer on multiple fronts. First, they've recently migrated to BigQuery, so they can share their experience. The second is they're from a highly regulated industry. So, if there are nuances, if there are challenges in migration, please throw all of that at Jiby and me during the Q&A. All right, let's get started. Today, we've laid it out in 4 sections. And the first piece is, for those of you who are joining us after a while, we'll do a quick catch-up of who we are and what we've been doing. The second part is going to be some really cool announcements of what's available starting now and what's going to be available in about 5 to 6 weeks from now. So some enhancements and some really cool announcements there. Then I'll hand it over to Jiby. He's going to walk you through Seattle Children's journey, both on their technical stack as well as from their migration perspective. And then we'll have a question answer towards the end. All right, just to recap, I'm sure you've been hearing this over and over again, but just to recap, BigQuery is the core of Google's data analytics engine. There are 3 things. There's limitless data. So literally by virtue of the almost infinite scalability, there is limitless data, but there are also limitless possibilities of what you can do with your data. There is limitless reach. So if you have your data infrastructure in BigQuery, your data can do a lot of things for you. That's not the topic for today's talk, but just wanted to refresh that. And finally, limitless workloads. So announcements that are happening today, work that the team has been doing over the past year, and before that, enables your workloads literally to scale infinitely. Let's jump into the BigQuery Migration Services. And just for folks at the back, my timer isn't working, so I'm still showing the entire 45 minutes. So if you go over, it's their fault, not mine. All right, BigQuery Migration Service, quick recap. 4 components, as we literally historically have talked about it. One is assessment. So if you're a customer or if you're a partner who's helping a customer migrate, how do you analyze 3 things? 1, what is the current state of your workload on your source system? So if you're on Teradata, if you're in Netezza, or if you're in Oracle, how do you analyze what are the complexities, what are the interrelationships of your workload? The second thing, all this is within assessment. The second thing is, what would your landed state on BigQuery look like? And the third thing is, how do you get there? So assessment as an automated service covers all of that. The next piece, the power horse, the workhorse of BigQuery Migration Service is the automated SQL translation. This is the industry best and probably one of the most performant automated SQL translations available from 14 plus sources to BigQuery. We complement that with a data transfer service for a few sources, and then there is automated data validation. Now, I'm not claiming that these services are automated 100%, but a constant effort is to get these to as close to 100% as possible, and then help you, the partner, or you, the customer, be able to cover the manual steps in a more deterministic fashion. Pictorially, if you just think the yellow boxes represent roughly what a migration looks like, different steps in a migration. What we do is we try to make solutions available, parts of the service available, corresponding to each of those, either by ourselves, which is the blue boxes, or with our partners and our professional services, which is the gray boxes. What we're trying to do is, if you were here with us last year, this picture was much sparse. What we've been trying to do is add either our components or with the help of our partners, solutions from them, so that when we go to you, meaning our sales team goes to you as a customer, or the partners team goes to you for a migration plan, a statement of work, we try to cover as much of this as possible with two things. One, all of this is free. So we're enabling the customer and the partner to drive down the cost of migrations. Instead, if you are a partner helping the customer, you can focus on optimizing the customer stack once they're in BigQuery. So that's a little bit of a paradigm shift. The second thing is our aim is to make each of these steps less about onion peeling and more deterministic. So it's the determinism in each of these steps that we've been working to add consistently. So be it increasing the depth in our assessment, automated assessment, which can now be run within like a couple of days, to less than a week for you to be able to see a full automated report, or be it SQL translation, we've been continuously improving the capabilities of automation. So just a quick recap. Where are we today? The items in red are recent enhancements, but again, the four bullets here correspond to the four components that we saw. So in assessment, we recently added Teradata in general availability with total cost of ownership and Redshift. So these are both pretty performant now. We also have brought batch and interactive translations. And what are those? Batch is when you point your workload and the entire workload gets automatically translated. Interactive is Google Translate, like left to right. You can go query by query. So what we've done is we've brought batch and interactive translations at parity. Your interactive translation now has the same context as your batch. So if you fed in metadata, if you fed in rules, now if you use interactive translation, it's going to have the same output with the same source context. And we've recently added sources including BTEC for Teradata, HiveQL, IBM Netezza. These were recently turned into generally available. They were in preview before. And then we've added Presto and Vertica in preview. Data migration and Gravity, we are working with partners and more on this coming soon. But we have first-party tooling for Teradata and Redshift, and through our partners, we have partner tooling for some of the other sources. Data validation, one of the good things that's been recently added, in addition to the sources, is the ability to dry run, which means that now if you use the data validation piece, you can ask it to just print out source and destination SQL queries without actually doing the validation. It's a pretty powerful construct. Think about it for a minute. Some numbers, just to show the scale we've been supporting. These include customers from across the verticals. So if you're a healthcare customer, you are represented here. If you're a retail customer, you're also represented here. There are two parts to this. One is the assessment, where we're showing how our automated assessment is able to cover large scale inquiries as well as large volume of data. And these are real customer numbers. On the code translation piece, look at the automation rates. You'll hear numbers being thrown around the industry, but these are actual outcomes of customer migrations. Let's get to the really exciting section, what you are waiting for. So without further ado, we're making the following announcements today. We are increasing our translation to be enhanced with large language models. So we are announcing large language models enhanced translations today. I have a short demo. We're also announcing enhanced UI for when you run translation, when you run assessment, whatever are the next step actions for you, they are getting more prescriptive. So that's one bucket. The second is on the assessment piece itself. We're announcing availability of assessment for 2 more sources, Snowflake and Hive. And we're also announcing in the assessment the ability for a customer or for a partner to run the assessment and determine what would their cost of ownership on BigQuery over a 3-year, 5-year, 2-year, 1-year horizon look like. So that's pretty powerful. Just looking at your workload, no human involvement, no filling questionnaires, and we give you a ballpark. On the translation core piece, we are continuously adding capabilities. So we are announcing availability for Teradata Vantage SQL to BigQuery conversion and TPT to BigQuery. We are announcing support for Hive QL Beeline CLI within our generally available Hive translation capability. And we are announcing support for IBM DB2 to BigQuery. So let's talk a little bit about LLM enhanced translations. I think this has been a really interesting area. So what we are doing is we're doing an experimental launch, not today, but 4 to 5 weeks from now. And a demo will represent what that launch will include. So what we are doing is, think of it like this. Today, when you submit a translation job, our compiler, our best-in-class compiler, does the translation. Now you'll have the ability to annotate if you want an LLM to enhance your translation. If you do that, an LLM would be able to do a few things. It would be able to suggest different possibilities of outputs in case there is an ambiguity in translation. And you as the user get to decide what is the right context for your translation. So if you're converting, for example, from Teradata to BigQuery, you will have, wherever there are ambiguities, you will have options to choose from. That's number one. Number two, if you have a customized environment, which most of the complex environments do, and this is a very complex space, then you will have the ability to define patterns or semantics, which then the LLM will automatically apply to similar patterns in your code throughout. Not just that, when it actually gets out the translation output, it will give you an option to keep it or do away with it. Meaning, you will clearly see LLM annotated text, LLM translated text annotated by, hey, this is LLM enhanced. Do you want to keep it or not? And the reason for doing that is we know LLMs hallucinate. We know LLMs give an output where it may not be correct, or at least not be correct in your business context. So we want you to be able to make that determination. But then we go a step further. What we do is, when we do present the LLM enhanced output, in the background, we will check that for you. So to overcome the hallucination problem, we would have verified that what the LLM output indeed is runnable on BigQuery. That's a minimum. That's our starting position. And finally, when all of this is done, you have the option to either apply all of the LLM suggestions or pick and select from them. And we do not use LLM output or data for our model training purposes. That's your data. These run in your projects. This data is stored in your buckets. We don't have access to that. So that's very important to know. So let's jump into the demo and see what we're talking about.
Welcome to the LLM Enhanced SQL Translation demo. The first demo is AI suggestion while the translation shows an error. In the BigQuery SQL editor, click the Enable SQL Translation button to enter the SQL Translation UI. It translates a dozen of SQL dialects into Google SQL. Here is the Create Table DDL with default column constraints. Click the Translate button and enable AI Enhanced SQL Translation. And then we get the output. On the right is the original translation engine output with arrows. The arrow is about the default column constraints are not yet supported. In the AI suggestion, we provide the LLM-generated result after fixing this arrow. We have this validation button to perform syntax validation, and another action button to apply AI suggestion. Click the button, and then the original translation output is replaced by this AI suggestion, and the default column constraints are added into the translated query. The second demo is customize the SQL translation with human input and output. In the input query, it joins two tables on the zip code column. One zip code column is varchar and the other one is integer column. The results returned by compiler is correct, but it introduces extra logic to cover the corner cases when string can't be safely cast as integer. But for this case, the user knows the zip code column should be integer, so they want to simplify the output. To achieve this, the user could provide generic input and output guidance. And let's translate this SQL again. The LLM simplifies the result by casting string into integer, following the example provided by the user. That's all for the demo. Thanks for watching.
Quick demo. So that's LLM enhanced translations. Now, let's just roll back what we talked in the last 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. With today's announcements from the product side, this is what BigQuery Migration Services looks like. The greens highlight the announcements we've made today that we just covered. And one thing to call out is that we have seen tremendous scale in the use of the service. As you saw on a previous slide, we have customers translating millions of SQL lines, millions of lines of SQL code, and we have customers migrating petabytes of data, and the service automation enables that. So if you have questions, specifics on what we can do and what would be best done with a partner, or even for your business cases, like for your organization's cases, what are some of the peculiarities, what are some of the business risks you're concerned about, please reach out to us. Always, always happy to talk to you. Some forward-looking announcements, what's upcoming. So what we will do between now and the next few months is we're adding deep assessments for additional sources. So we have them for 4 now with today's announcement, Teradata, Redshift, Snowflake, and Hive. We're going to add more sources, and we're going to deepen the coverage for these assessments. What we are also doing is we are launching an API for individual strings. So what you can do is you can call that API and pass it a string. That string can be a query, multiple queries. It'll just do a query by query translation. A lot of our partners have asked for this capability simply because they want to integrate this translation into their tooling. So this is what we're doing for that. We will keep improving our UX. We have made substantial improvements, but we are not done. There's more coming. We are adding more sources, more formats for translation customization. So specifying rules. We have a pretty rich way for you to be able to specify macro substitution and a whole bunch of things. But we'll keep adding, we'll keep making improvements to that. One thing is, as this translation proceeds, at every step, we'll be trying to optimize your state for when you land on BigQuery, which means that performance optimization, based on your source context, based on what you specified, will happen in the background. So that when you do land on BigQuery, we are ready to hand you over to the BigQuery optimization engine, which means that we would have optimized you to the extent possible based on your source context and make you as ready as possible to run your queries effectively on BigQuery. Query performance. So that's a big focus. We'd also be building out a first-class lineage product, which is column-level lineage, source lineage, so for Teradata, for Oracle, for any source systems. And it'll analyze the impact of dependencies and enhance our ability to automatically recommend a migration plan show all the different dependencies, and help you be able to structure and segment the migration more deterministically. And finally, we'll be adding more sources and more capabilities for improving data gravity, for improving data migration. The second set of announcements pertain to Google Cloud Consulting, and they have a booth right around. Please go and talk to them if you have more questions about this. We heard our customers and our partners that our Google Cloud Consulting programs were a little bit rigid. So what we've done is we've made them very modular. Now you'll have the ability to engage Google Cloud Consulting just as a trusted help source. So if you have like one-off questions, you can do that. If you want to engage them deeper for a part of your migration, starting all the way from proof of concept, you can just engage them for that specifically. If you are wanting to engage our cloud consulting for bigger pieces of migration, you can do that. And now, as always, they're happy to work with you to do the whole end-to-end migration if you choose to do so. So what this is doing is two things. One is making the cloud consulting model more modular and cheaper if you are looking for help for certain areas. The second piece it's doing is it's making it easier for our partners and our cloud consulting to work together. More flexibility. So these are a few announcements. Please make sure you talk to our cloud consulting folks down the hall. And then the third part of announcements, and this is where it's really exciting for our partner ecosystem, is we are announcing rapid proof of value with partners. What now a partner can do is work with us, Google, and if, for example, you're working with a customer and you want our help, both in terms of technology as well as in terms of covering some of the costs, we can help you with that. So if you're part of our trusted partner, our core partner program, we'll work with you for assessments. We'll also have a very modular offering, which is a rapid POV, 2 to 4 weeks. And as it says, it'll do a t-shirt size proof of value. It'll take 1 to 3 use cases and it'll prove the value. So look at the timeline. It's 2 to 4 weeks. So we are accelerating times and we're lowering costs and lowering friction. And third piece is there's modernization factory. So if you're a partner and you're working with a customer, or if you're a customer and you also want to approach us, we'll help you pair up with a partner. And what we'll do there in the modernization factory is we'll do the comprehensive first-hand view of what your migration proposal, what your migration architectures, what nuances will need to be covered as part of the migration. So again, what this is doing is rather than partners going for one-offs and partners, going and talking to customers about the entire migration, we have bite-sized it. So now you can choose a small component or you can choose a larger component. Some select partners that we already work with, and hopefully you'll see a lot of these names, probably all of them, down in the hallway. There are other partners who are not listed on the slide, and if you're a partner who are interested in working with us, again, either to benefit from our technology or you want to work with joint business programs with us, please reach out to us. Here is where you can learn more. And with that, let me welcome Jiby for his story about Seattle Children's migration.
Thanks, Mohit. I'm Jiby Varghese. I am a Director of Data Engineering, Analytics, whatever you can call titles, not that important nowadays. I am here to just give you a quick overview of who we are, what was our journey, what we did, and what were our milestones, and did we achieve our milestones. It won't be too technical. You will see some technical slides. You can reach out to us and I need the clicker. Okay, you can reach out to us at any point in time, and we can give you more in-depth overview of what we did. And wrong direction. So I'm from Seattle Children's. I am representing hospital analytics team, which is run by Susan Spencer. This is a quick overview of what Hospital Children does today. We provide hope, care, and cure to help every child live healthiest and most fulfilling life possible. We have about 46 locations. We are about 9,000 plus employees. We have 1,900 medical staff. Our gross revenue as of 2022 was 3.3 billion. Our annual patient visit is about 400K. Outpatient is 250K, and inpatient is about 15K, and emergency room visit 54K, and outpatient surgeries 11K, and we have 407 licensed beds. For hospital analytics team, this is our mission and vision. Our mission is to power data innovation that drives equitable action to improve the lives of children and their families. That's our vision. Over next 3 years, we want to expand and leverage the analytics AI platform to power scientific discoveries, real-time assessment, awareness and predictions, and seamless operational integration. What it really does is we need to move forward from where we were. We were in our RDBMS system. At this point in time, we want to empower our analytical journey further for our patient families, employees, and broader community. So that's our journey. So whatever you're seeing on your far left, before 2015, when we started our journey, we had our own data warehouse, which was very limited and which had very small footprints. There were a lot of mini data warehouses across the organization. And our uptime was about 65%. And if we did HIM stage AMAM assessment, we would be in stage 1 or 2, right? And then we were industry followers, not leaders. Starting 2016, we acquired Netezza, and between 2016 and 2017, we acquired Cloudera as well. And we had now 2 systems in which we combined all our data warehouse data. We have about 71 different data sources that we bring data. We even bring real-time data from bedsides as well in Cloudera. So we had few pros, and then we had few cons as well. Pros were that now we had a unified system with hospital research and foundation. We had a single source of trusted data. And then now we started doing self-service, advanced analytics, automation. All that was undergoing. And then we did a HIM 7 certification, and we got the highest certification at stage 7 in 2019, end of 2019. But there were some more things that we were not able to do. Just to remind, we are a hospital industry, and we really need to focus on giving care and to the patient and empowering analytics and scientific discoveries, right? So we wanted to get out of this day-to-day management of our systems, taking care of our hard drives. We did not have proper integration with our data science tools, and our RTO and RPO was super low with our Netezza system, IBM Netezza system. After that, we are hoping, we just finished our migration in August. We are hoping that future will be, everything that we had before will remain a single source of truth. Now, instead of having 2 different systems, Cloudera and Netezza, we are going to deprecate both. We have deprecated Netezza. We have stopped refresh on that. We will be deprecating Cloudera as well at some point in time next year. And we will bring all that data in BigQuery, and we have one place to run our reports, to have to help our data scientists, and this is where, and plus we'll have added benefits of AI and ML capabilities as well. These are our milestones. Early 2001, IBM came to us and let us know that Netezza will no longer be available starting 2023 April, and there is no more Netezza system after that. Obviously, they did bring in new Netezza systems later on, but we were unaware of it at that point in time. April 2021, we decided that we'll start working on finding a newer system, the next-gen system by August, fall. And August, we had a 20-people team that represented all roles and organizations across Seattle Children's Hospital. This 20-people team decided, this group was formed to decide which next system we are going to migrate to. September 2021, we did a lot of vendor demos. We had David Jones as our TPM. In March, we narrowed down to 3 finalists, and we did a lot of deep dive sessions. And we created a scorecard, and then we finally decided to go with Google, right? May 2022 onwards, we did pricing negotiation, vendor engagement, and then August 2022, we had a final recommendation. By November 2022, we had funding approved, and December, we started our training sessions. Mind you, none of our employees were savvy with any cloud infrastructure as such. This is our first journey, and we started just training in December 2022. Google was with us, training us constantly. And we had a lot of one-off seminars. We had the Google Cloud Hero session so that people can at least join us, get certified. And then in January 2023, we started our ETL migration. By mid-May, we finished our ETL migration. I will show you the scale at which what we did, how much we migrated in the next slide. But it wasn't easy. It was super hard, but we had support. We had support, tremendous support from Google and partners. Mid-May, we finished ETL migration, and by April and August, we finished our data validation, report migration, and everything. We just shut down Netezza Refresh SLA on 18th of this month. So we are that fresh. So if you see me sweating here, and that's why. What did we migrate? We migrated about 650 databases from Netezza, 57,000 database objects in those 4.5 months, 1.7 million lines of code, 30,000 scripts, 3 homegrown automated tools were migrated because all our automated tools were catered towards data stage in Netezza, 13 self-service models, 1,000 plus reports. Many reports we decided we won't even migrate. So that is the plus of doing a complete migration to a new system. And then we even decommissioned 580 plus reports as well. We have 200 plus file extracts that goes to internal and external partners. We migrated those. And we also migrated 2 SQL Server cubes. You can see on your right what was our architecture before. It is super, super high level. There's so many components I have not mentioned here, but one thing to note there is we have 71 different data sources. Epic and Cerner, these big systems are like 1 or 2 of them. So we have more, much more data sources. Even our operational data like Jira, ServiceNow, everything goes into our data warehouse. So these were our main objectives, right? And I will go through one by one and let you know, did we achieve them or not? We wanted to build a data warehouse that was sustainable, that we can grow. We did not want to do migration every 5 years, renegotiating every 5 years, and then not only you have to negotiate with your vendor partners, but we have to also negotiate with our data center team, acquire a space and all. So we did not want to do that going forward. And we also needed capabilities where we can do our AI, ML, NLP, and image analytics. So we achieved that. we did a brownfield migration, so minimal change, attain parity, whatever possible, just don't change any business logic and not increase our cost as well. So that we achieved, have a partner, and we wanted to have a partner to migrate our current ETL workflow. We had a partner with Google, and this is where Google helped us the most. They held our partners accountable to finish the migration and finish every component of the migration. So thanks to Google team, and we wanted tools. Google had tools like BigQuery Migration Service. I mean teams like BigQuery Migration Services and our professional services. These teams were available whenever we wanted them. They were available, design the architecture with us, help us to teach what each one of these components means, when to use it, where to use it, how to use it. So I'm super thankful to Google and PSO team as well. And then as I said, we had to train our employees. We have 90+ people in our team alone, and we had to train all our analysts, we had to train all our engineers, we had to train all our data scientists, how to use BigQuery, and how to even use BigQuery console and navigate it. And then we had, as I said, we finished our, we were supposed to finish our migration by end of April. We couldn't. We had to extend it a bit by 15-20 days. By then, our Netezza support was over, but we were able to migrate successfully. We wanted to increase our SLA from 99% uptime to 99.99%. Again, to keep that 99% uptime on Netezza was super hard, because every time we had to do any upgrades or enhancements, we had to flip to our DR system, and all that flipping back and forth was manual. We wanted to have a better RPO and RTO. With our Netezza system, we can only go back about 24 hours. Here, we can be real time. And because Google has a capability that you can turn back 7 days, that was super helpful for us to keep our SLAs. Bring better visibility to our operational expense. So when you go and buy a system like a data center system, you have to spend your CapEx, and you're spending like $5 million, $6 million, the scale at which we are buying, right? At this time frame, we did not have to spend all that at once. If I may, right now, as we are progressing, I think we would be spending less than what we would have spent with our data center acquisition. So at least let me give you that much feedback from cost perspective. We wanted to increase our ability to innovate in future. We wanted to make sure that all our tools are working right. Google BigQuery does connect to Tableau, Power BI, R, Jupyter Notebook, and obviously it also supports native Python as well. We wanted to build a self-healing rollback ETL process. So we have seen our ETL processes fail at night. We have to get up at night. Today, even right after our migration, we have already built self-healing ETL processes. Whenever our data proc systems, they have any issues, we can destroy them, rebuild them automatically. We don't really have to get up. Our systems we have started automating that process already. And as I said, we just finished our migration on 18th. So think about it, how quickly we are able to automate these processes. And then we wanted to use the resources when it is required. So all of our Dataproc servers, right now we are using Dataproc servers. We wanted to migrate to serverless at some point in time. But just to keep parity, we are using Dataproc servers, but we only spin them up when our ETLs are running. As soon as our ETLs are done, we destroy them, and we don't incur any more cost at all. Just to give you a data point from SLA perspective, we were meeting our SLAs by 8 a.m. in the morning. Because of what we have done so far, that 8 a.m. SLA we are meeting now by 4:30 in the morning. as well. So tremendous, tremendous performance benefit as well. And then obviously, one of our main criteria was that our next system should be completely HIPAA certified, which is, Google is completely HIPAA certified as well, with all the components that we have used here. And this is our new, very high-level architecture that we moved to. Thank you for your time.